On October 26th and 27th of 2016, my experience at Saratoga War Horse was profoundly moving. Just 15 minutes there with Sam, a retired thoroughbred, brought a very strong healing experience as I began revisiting some of the most challenging incidents of my duty at Utapao, Thailand during the Vietnam War. Although not combat duty, I experienced what I would certainly call very combative remarks from the military personnel attending the training program, 1973, January to May of 74. Many of them, probably most of them, did not want to be there. I supervised and also taught the 18-hour mandatory race relations program probably about 80 times. It left me with some long-term, you might say, post-traumatic type of stress issues, some suicidal impulses at discharge from the Air Force, some violent impulses that the latter of which continued for quite some decades afterwards. In my work with Sam, I experienced release and a kind of resolution as we hugged and as I spoke very softly, quietly to him, by ourselves, in the corral, of course. In my journal, I then wrote that I whispered to Sam of letting go, of moving on, gratitude. Sam just was a well of receptivity. I locked onto his eye and deep silence emerged. No one uttered a sound. Only the two of us in communion. In that communion, I found acceptance of what I had been sort of denying to an extent in my life. The gentle, the fragile, the tender. And another participant in our program, a cowboy veteran from Montana, when he saw the Sam and me in the corral and how we interacted, later on said, John here, what he did with his horse, he just put his arms around Sam's neck from above. It really made me realize I'm going to change the way that I work with animals. To me, it was sort of like a fine, you might say, welcome home. And in my journal at the time, I continued writing that it was as though I was conducting an orchestra, which in this case was a horse. The synchronicity in working with Sam is that it was also the name of my Thai girlfriend at the time. And I might add that Sam, also the horse, was female, a mare. At the end of it, Bob Nevins, the founder of Saratoga Warhorse, said that horses are as intuitive as dolphins, tuning into emotions of the human with them. And as I left the corral, Bob immediately gave me a hug and said, "You were great out there, John, but I would argue that the greatest was Sam." I thank you, I thank Bob and the other staff there for a fine experience.